As Brian mentioned, my name is Rich Drouin. I'm lead management bio out of the LEC Management Unit in London, for Ministry of Natural Resources. Before I get going, I just want to acknowledge my counterparts here, who are my partners in crime. Todd Rose from Michigan, Jim Markham from New York, over here somewhere. Janice Kearns. Janice is new to our committee. She has now replaced Chris, as Chris has moved on to the USGS. And myself as chair, and I didn't know I was acting chair, I quit chair, so kudos to me.
You have to try just as hard, okay, Ricky?
And then finally, Chuck over there in the LEC is also a member of our SBC as well. Going right way. Okay, we've actually got 7 charges. I'm not going to go through all 7 charges. I'm going to highlight only 3 or 4 of them and go through pretty quickly because I've only got about 10 minutes to do this. But essentially, to prepare for today, represent the Lake Erie FTC on the Council of Lake Committees, Subcommittee Technical Committee Chairs, oversee some of the structured decision analysis through LEC and the QFC and local walleye and yellow perch task groups over the last few years. Eventually, we will be working towards producing a yellow perch management plan. We were charged last year with maintaining or developing and maintaining a database to track the harvest and yield of fish species that are described in the fish community goals and objectives for the Erie. Look at investigating some of the standardized programs for assessment for the indexing of perch recruitment in the central and eastern basin of Lake Erie. And then finally, to oversee the development of the 2015 State of Lake Report. So I was just going to highlight some of the things. Today's agenda, the performance metrics, you showed up, so that's pretty good. So today, we're going to end up close to 5 o'clock. As Brian already mentioned, there will be the stakeholder comment period towards the end of that. But we'll be looking at the grass carp, sort of an overview of grass carp. Chris is going to talk to us about some of the acoustic telemetry stuff that's taking place this year, over the past few years on Lake Erie. Then we'll look into the walleye and yellow perch task group and the recommendations for harvest to the LEC. Tomorrow morning, we're going to start bright and early at 8:30 with the attack announcements, and then we'll move into some of the other task group reports, as well as updates from other members as well, looking at sea lamprey and the status of sea lamprey, some of the work that's being proposed for restoration of sturgeon, as well as what the fish community is going to look like, or is looks like on Lake St. Clair. So LEC, just a guy, I got a few slides on LEC. Everyone is well aware, and I know there's a lot of LEC members here in the audience today. It's been a very positive process. It started back in 2010. This past year, we've actually had 3 meetings. Shortly after LEC last year, we had a face-to-face in Buffalo, and then we moved to some web-based conferences. And then we're looking at our next face-to-face meeting somewhere in Ontario, yet to be determined, beginning of May. Process in the last year and a half has been really focused on moving away from walleye and with the implementation of the walleye management plan, now moving into yellow perch, and really looking at the review of the different models, or the yellow perch models, as well as looking at new approaches to yellow perch models, including some of the implementation of some of the recommendations from the technical committee that had looked at the models. We know that QFC did apply some of the structure changes that were similar to walleye that are now being looked at in this new form of models. And we know that there was a review of analysis of the different YPG-T model and the Peterson-Riley model, looked at some performance measures and diagnostics on those 2 models with the survey of LEC, and LEC did provide some recommendations to the LEC for the purpose of setting TAC this year. But I'll let the yellow perch task force go much more eloquent in describing what happened than I am. Investigate the standardized approach to surveys for perkit recruitment in the central and eastern basin. So the central basin, we see a high harvest of yellow perch, but it does lack in sort of the recruitment indices that are out there. To date, we do have recruitment surveys that are used to reject H2 fish into the fisheries of that quota year. We do have the Ohio trawl series. In recent years, we've had some low sampling issues due to malfunction of vessels and some hypoxia due to trawls in August. And of course, we have the Ontario trawl, gillnet series that captures only the H1, and it has a low selectivity for smaller fish. So it does contribute to some of that uncertainty around what that recruitment data looks like. So last year, with work from USGS and folks around the lake, there was a pilot study that was initiated on the north shore of Lake Erie. It was to provide information on both H0 and H1 fish. We did it later in October to avoid any hypoxia. It was a broad spatial coverage, and you can see by the different colored dots there how broad it was, looking at sampling of the grid. And it does include some offshore sites as well. As I mentioned, it was a joint effort with the USGS Muskie fishing, as well as the Erie Explorer Wheatley and the Kinessea. No, the other way. So some of the preliminary results from that, the most common species were rainbow smelt. We did catch some yearling older perch, yearling older white perch, round gobies, but we did see low catches of end of the year yellow perch. Just to give you some references, the average catch per hectare was 5.1, so 4.6 in NU2 and 5.8 in NU3, which is lower values when you compare it to the West Basin, and lower than the Ohio, which catch rates around 38 to 42 catch per hectare. And I do have a note here on the bottom to remind me that some of these results between the boats aren't directly comparable, mostly due to some differences in methodology of the year. So we're hoping that in 2017 we can look at some fishing power differences between the boats. And then finally, just to wrap up here, oversee the development of the 2015 State of the Lake Report. So 2009 State of the Lake Report will be submitted to the LEC early April for final editing, and we are currently looking at a partial draft of the 2015 State of the Lake. Just to wrap up, I just want to give some thanks to the folks at Michigan State University, USC, Mike Jones, John Siswell, and Lisa Peterson for all the help and support that they've provided to the LEC process. To all the stakeholders that are out there as well that have sort of contributed a lot of time and effort and provided some recommendations to the LEC, as well as to the Commission, John Detmers and Roger Knight, especially with the work around the State of Lake reporting, and especially trying to get us through the 2009 where we're at today. And of course, all the past group members as well. So, thank you very much.